It gives me great personal pleasure to introduce the architect of that year, Coach Richard Phelps.
Thank you. Thank you very much, really. I got a little bit nervous earlier. You know, you get a Jesuit up with a microphone. Forget the 40 days and 40 nights in the desert. I thought it was Palm Sunday. But anyhow, life's journey, seriously. Growing up as an undertaker's son up the valley here, about 60 miles in Beacon, I started out being an undertaker and ended up in coaching by accident. And then, of course, I really wanted to be a Division I head coach after 4 years at the University of Pennsylvania with Dick Harder. And it's amazing how things fall in place. And that's the message I want to give to you, Tom, and your kids tonight, as well as those of us that remember back when these guys made it all happen. I really wanted the Seton Hall job. Richie Reagan promised me an interview. Bill Rafferty gets the job. I go to the Final Four at College Park that year in '70. And I talked to Jack McGee, who's the head coach at Georgetown. Fordham had opened. Ed did a great job recruiting. Obviously, they had a losing season. He's out. The rumors were that Jack Donahue was going to leave Holy Cross, come back to New York City, where he coached Lou Alcindor at Power Memorial, and coach at Fordham. Jackie McGee, the coach at Georgetown, is going to leave and go back to Holy Cross, where he played with Bob Cousy. Georgetown's open. I'm going to apply for the job. I get home from the Final Four. I didn't stay for the championship game because then it used to be Thursday, Saturday. I get home on Friday because I think it was a Good Friday. It was Easter weekend, and my wife says to me, she says, "Hey, Johnny Drews called." Johnny Drews is one of the 7 blocks of granite with Vince Lombardi back in '37, '38 at Fordham. He says, "Fordham would like to talk to you." I said, "No, it's going to be musical chairs." He says, "No, they want to talk to you." So I call up Pete Carlissimo. He says, "Come up Tuesday," which I did. And we interview and we talk. The following Tuesday, I become the head coach at Fordham. It falls in place. I'll never forget my first meeting, and I show up at Rose Hill, meet Pete Carlissimo, Jim Lansing, who was on that famous team, 1940 Cotton Bowl, whatever. And I'm thinking about Vince Lombardi and Johnny Drews being the 7 blocks of granite. And I'm saying to myself, God, this is 1970. They're talking about something that happened in 1937. That's 33 years ago. God. So Drew says they want to talk to you. I come up and see Pete. I find out that Jack McKinney, who's the head coach at St. Joe's at the time, he's with Carlissimo at this dinner with Johnny Drews. And Jack McKinney pushes me for the job. Next thing you know, I get the job. And it's like, wow. This other guy who's an assistant coach at Holy Cross named Frank McLaughlin, he wants to come back to Fordham and be an assistant. And as I'm in the office that day, we're going to have our first team meeting. And Jim Lansing says to me, he says, "Look, you're going to need 3 balls with these guys. They're 10 and 15 last year. They don't know how to play. They don't know what they do." I said, "No, Jim, I'm going to have 3 tri-captains. They're seniors. Burek, Maynard, and Yelverton. We'll play with 1 ball. We'll be fine." And what I mean by this, in life's journey, things happen for a reason. And for whatever that reason may be, I'm excited because we got this guy named Paul Griswold, who's as big as he is, from St. Benedict's in Jersey, over in Newark. I said, if he's our center, and we can go 15 and 10 and reverse it, we'll get an NIT bid. We've turned the program around. Let's move forward. So Paul takes the knee. You know how the quarterback takes the knee? He took the knee for these guys. Goes down the first week of November. Next thing you know, Sully's our center at 6'5". And then we got Waterwitz at 6'5", and Zambetti at 6'5". but got all these guards. So we start the press drills early, as you recall, and we got into the pressing game early. When Zambetti, and Wardowitz and Sully have got to rotate at center because the big guy goes down Griswold, I'll never forget, PJ, we have a pep rally, I think on a Thursday night or Friday night, and our first game was against Yale. Charlie talked, Billy talked, but it was this guy, Burek gets up, and he tells the students in this dorm that we had the pep rally. We've got this press. I turned to Frank, I said, they believe. We beat Yale. We start moving on. And by game 5, we're playing Holy Cross, and we're starting 3 guards. Charlie is playing as a guard forward, Burek, Maynard, and Frank says to me, one of the great coaching moves, start 4 guards tonight. Have Sully at center, have Kenny Charles be the 4th guard. We kick Holy Cross all over the place at Rose Hill. And what made Rose Hill? It was the one drum and the bugle, the trumpet. That was our band. One drum and the bugle and the student body. And we destroyed Holy Cross that night, and they started to believe. And things start falling in place. Syracuse comes in with a big kid, Smith, the 7-foot kid. They never got near the basket because we're going 94 feet and wearing you down. We beat Syracuse, which was another upset after Holy Cross. We go down and play at Miami, and we play at Gainesville. And Gainesville was really racial. And don't forget, in '66 is when Kentucky lost to Western Texas Western in that national championship game. And that was the beginning of it. This is 70-71, so still in the South, Gainesville was an issue. And you heard Billy mention something tonight, and that's what Gainesville was all about. We win both of those games. We finally get home over the holidays. We lose to Temple by 1, I think, at Rose Hill. Then it became showdown. We had pressed everybody, full court, 94 feet. Notre Dame had ended a 33-game winning streak with Sidney Wicks and company at Notre Dame. They're coming into the Garden with Austin Carr. And this was the best of the student body. Forget Jesus Christ Superstar. The song was Charlie Y Superstar. Austin Carr, you ain't going far. What was amazing about these guys, and you talk about a team, we were a team. Because Charlie fouls out in that game, who takes the game over? Billy Maynard. We end up beating Notre Dame in the Garden, and it was New Year's Eve. And Times Square, New York Garden, every bar. These guys became the Hard Hats' favorite team in Manhattan. They couldn't go anywhere in this city where people didn't know them, love them, and respect them. The next week, it's Al McGuire, Marquette's coming in. Dean Meminger, who was a teammate of Charlie's at Brother Rice. Jimmy Jones gets the tap over Sully, gets the ball in the high post. Charlie leaves, Lackey comes over and blocks Jones' shot into the 5th row of the Garden. 19,500 are electric. We lose that game. That was our second loss. We go up to Boston College. And I'll never forget this moment. It's in the old place, not the Conti Forum. But Jackie Burek's parents would go to every game. They'd drive from Pittsburgh and be there. And as you guys recall, I'm down in front of you guys on the bench, and there was 2 tiers. There was a balcony. And here's Mrs. Burek sprinkling holy water down on the team. And I'm going like to these guys, can you believe these? Can you believe this? Those SOBs are spitting on you. Can we take that? They're spitting on you. You can't take that. Jimmy O'Brien, the Jimmy O'Brien, was the captain of the team. Chuck Daly was the coach. We go overtime, shut them out, 10-0. This team was amazing. We go to UMass. Sully fouls out. Zambetti fouls out. Wardowitz fouls out, trying to guard one guy, Dr. J. Charlie Y says, give him to me. He shuts them down in the last 3 minutes. We win the game at UMass in the cage. What was amazing about these guys, they believed in each other. They were unselfish. They were focused. They believed in the press. We had Villanova in the Eastern Regionals. They got Howard Porter, Jones, Simonkowski, Inglesby, and some guy named Chris Ford. I played Charlie in the first half. He's got 2 fouls. I didn't care about, he gets his third. We didn't care. We had to go after him. They go on to lose to UCLA in the national championship game. We're that close to getting to that position. But what was amazing about these guys, they own New York City, but the Fordham students own New York City. The Fordham cheerleaders own New York City. The pep band, the bugle, and the bass drum own New York City. The dance team owned New York City. It was amazing how everybody came together and believed in that one moment. And that's life's journey. It was a year that fell in place for a lot of different reasons. And it was a year that, when somebody said it's the 40th year reunion, I said, whoa. I'm going back to Lombardi and Drews in 37. But know this and understand this. And Tommy, I say this to you and I say this to your team. Understand something about the A-10. The A-10's the powerhouse this year. Preseason, Dayton, Richmond, Xavier, and Temple are all NCAA bound. You want a challenge? Just knock them off when you play them. You want a challenge? Believe in what Tom wants to do and make it work. There's no such thing as, well, they got better talent and they got better talent, or this isn't. No. The A-10 is better than the Pac-10 this year. Yeah, I'm talking about UCLA, Washington, Arizona, Southern Cal, all those schools. That's how strong the A-10 is. You live for college basketball. And what you saw happen last year in college basketball, St. Mary's knocks off Villanova. Northern Iowa knocks off Kansas. Cornell beats Temple in the first round, goes on to the Sweet 16 by beating Wisconsin. Xavier beats Pittsburgh. Butler. You know, Hayward missed that shot with all our experts at ESPN with the computers, where he took it, the arch, and where it hit. He missed that shot to beat Duke by 1/8 of an inch. So don't tell me you can't make it happen. And don't tell me what Billy said, the torch has been passed to your generation. It's been a long time waiting. The time is now. You believe, you make it happen, and the Rams show up, and guess what? Come March Madness, you're there, you get an NCAA bid. Thank you. God bless you.